Like, I did not realize that Sweden was going to be this good. It's actually been the best summer of my life, I realize. But I've had to deal with so much fear. The Vipassana retreat that I did in May has completely changed the way I look at the world and myself. And I've been feeling hopeless in that regard. And I woke up, I was like, what the hell was that? What the hell was that? And it felt like someone actually spoke to me inside my mind. It's like, you're gonna go and you're gonna live there. And I'm like, okay. And then I felt this deep drive and excitement to go and do that. I wanted to go then. I can't believe it's been 5 months in Sweden already. I'm on my way up to one of my favorite places that I found. A place that I used to play at when I was a kid. I used to go to school down here. I'm not sure if you can see for the trees, but there's like a building down there. And I used to go to school there. And it's been like a really nostalgic time for me here. And I think a lot of people, they relate nostalgia with grief, but I think that happens if we want to go back there. And I don't feel a desire to go back there at all. I just feel a sense of like coming home. Almost like finishing a chapter. Yeah, maybe you can see the building right there. That's my old school. Well, yeah, 5 months in Sweden, and in 3 days I'll be leaving somewhere nicer. Well, I mean, warmer, that is. I think us Swedes have a tendency to complain a lot about the weather, which is fair in my opinion, because it's mostly dark and cold here, like 8 months per year anyway. But it's been a really good summer. And if you're interested in hearing where I'm going in 3 days, make sure to stick around till the end, because I'll announce then. But before then, I'll just talk a little bit about my journey here in Sweden and what's been going on the last few months in my own life. And I'm going to show you around my favorite places here as well. So make sure to stick around for that. So much nostalgia here. I remember there's like a valley down here. I'll show you. And yeah, before I do that, just look at how green it is everywhere. And this is like 5 minutes from my apartment where I'm staying at. You can walk here and you can just soak this in, and they have like trails and stuff. So this is actually something that I will miss the most about my hometown, because it's like, I've never really thought about this. And when I was living here, I don't know, 7 years ago or so, I never visited this place. I was never out here. Like, it's so stupid. We have this beautiful piece of nature right at our doorstep, basically. And we're not, I mean, I can only speak for myself, right? But I was not appreciating this. And this is like the highlight of my stay here. But yeah, so down here it's like a valley. I remember, because I told you that I was going to school down there. And they told us that down in this valley, they had like a dragon sleeping. And so they had put like red paint on like a rock down here somewhere. And so all of us kids, we were like super scared of going down there, because we thought that the dragon was like, if I remember correctly, they said that someone had killed the dragon, and that's why they had put some red paint on the rock for blood. But we were all scared of going down there. I don't know why the teachers did that, but it was kind of a cool thing. It was like a little bit of lore for this place. Look at the trees here, like, yeah, it's magical. I love this. And so you have the sun coming through as well. Such a cool place. Yeah, this place has been my second home over the last 5 months that I've been here, exploring this again. And it's been great. But so much have happened. So much have happened. Like, I did not realize that Sweden was going to be this good. It's actually been the best summer of my life, I realize. I've had so much stuff happening on the inside. I know that I said in my latest vlog that I did that I was going to deepening my practice into surrender. And I can tell you that that is exactly what I've done. We were all playing so much here when I was a kid. Like, it's such a luxury thing to be able to have this, like 5 minutes from your home, and we're all building like tree houses and just having the blast here. And this is the first time that I'm actually here appreciating all of this, because everything is so magical. Why do we all walk around and not paying attention to where we're at? Right? I mean, the magic that is here all the time, that I have become more aware of since being here for 5 months. And it really started with the Vipassana that I did back in May. It's been such an interesting thing, because I became aware then in the Vipassana that I've had so much resistance to life. I've had so much resistance to life. I've always resisted everything, and I've had so much fear in me ever since I was a kid. Like, I remember, because it was kind of chaotic in my upbringing, and I mean, all of us, we grew up with fears and insecurities and traumas and everything, right? I mean, it's nothing special. But I've had to deal with so much fear in my nervous system for different reasons in my life. And I became hyper aware of that in the Vipassana, and I realized how much I'm walking around resisting life all the time. And I think that I intuited that even when I left Australia, when I was going to Bali, because I was like, okay, it feels like I need to surrender here, because I had been staying in Australia for like 4.5 years. That's a long time, right? And it's become my home. I still feel like it is in one way or another. I still feel like I want to go back in due time. Now it's time to just allow this to present itself, what I've been going through over the last 5 months. But so after the Vipassana, I became super aware of resistance, and I've just allowed myself to sink deeper into that, basically. And I can tell you that if you're on this path yourself of wanting to find harmony and peace on the inside and fulfillment, letting go of resistance, I have found, is the only thing we really need to do. Because when we walk around and resist things all the time, basically we disagree with reality. Even if it's uncomfortable things that we don't want to be there, I get it. But we somehow tend to believe that they will harm us, that they are dangerous to us, and they're not dangerous. They're just sensations and like twitchings and tiny movements and stuff happening in the nervous system that we don't want to be there. We don't want to feel this way. We're disagreeing with something happening inside of ourselves. And that's exhausting. And so I realized that when I allow everything to be exactly as it is, even resistance, when I allow resistance to be exactly as it is, without trying to change or add or take away anything, everything becomes quiet and still. And that pleasure that arises from that is like it's the best type of pleasure I've ever felt in my life. Like, nothing even comes close to that. And I realized that it's that pleasure that we're actually seeking in future achievements or short-term pleasures. It's that pleasure that we're longing for. It's like, that type of relief is actually what we're finding when we allow resistance to just be there. And when we do that enough time, there won't be anything left on the inside to bother us anymore. And so we will just be perfect, like exactly as we are supposed to be, fully authentic. That's what we will be there. And we will realize that it's always been there. And we will realize that it's actually the resistance towards life that makes us stuck in the mind, identifying with thoughts and concepts, and I think I need this and I want that and I need to get away from this. All comes from a resistance. Because you can think about this yourself, right? When we want something, I want this thing to happen, or I need this thing to happen. Or on the other end, I don't want this to happen. That's resistance, right? But if you want something to happen, that's just wanting something. Both of them tell us that The present moment is not enough. What I have right here is not enough. I'm disagreeing with something. I need something to happen. I need something to change. I need to add something or take away something. Wanting something and resisting something, they're the same thing. They make us feel like we are not enough as we are, and we need to make something happen in the future to feel okay on the inside. And so I highly recommend Vipassana if you want to learn to let go of resistance. I mean, it's obviously, it's going to be different for everyone, right? But the Vipassana retreat that I did in May has completely changed the way I look at the world and myself. And I've started to see the magic in everything. And the interesting thing with finding the magic in the world is that if we go and seek for it, if we will try and find happiness or magic or awe or wonder or something like that in the world, if we go looking for it, we won't find it. Because I can't tell you, it's over there, it's here, I can't tell you anything like that. What I can say though is that if we allow ourselves to sink into ourselves, if we give up the seeking for something all the time, then we will start to find it on the inside. And when we find it on the inside, we will look at the world with that. So it's the seeking in any way in life, seeking for love, seeking for magic in the world, seeking for success, seeking for whatever, you name it, anything. It's the seeking that keeps us away from the finding. And the seeking simultaneously creates resistance towards the present moment. The present moment is not enough, so I need to seek something externally outside myself. And when I do that, I lose touch with who I really am. I lose touch with that which is always present, always peaceful, always fulfilled, always magical. I lose touch with that when I seek. And so giving up the seeker what happens if I give up the seeker? I find what I think that the seeking will give me. And that's just the most fascinating thing I've ever discovered. It's such a cool thing. And if you're interested in learning more about this, if you want to learn how to meditate, if you want to find fulfillment on the inside, click the first link in my description and apply for my coaching, and we can see if we can work together. Because this is what life is supposed to be like. But it's so easy to get lost in thoughts though. It's so easy to get lost in thoughts, especially when we're working with something we don't like. Maybe we're in a situation we don't enjoy. Like it's tough, but there are ways out of it. And if you're curious about finding your way, click the first link and we can have a chat. There's so many different trees here. And that's what I love about Sweden. Everything is so lush and green, and there's so many different trees and so quiet. And there's not a lot of people as well. I mean, down south, I'm more like middle south kind of area. We have way more people here than up north. Like, I think Sweden is actually the country in Europe with the least amount of people compared to its size. So we have a lot of space here where we just have this woods, and it's kind of nice. It's something that I haven't been cherished before. Like I've overlooked this. I've always dreamt of beaches and stuff, and that's awesome as well. But I realized that being out in the woods like this, I didn't realize that I was going to enjoy this that much when I left Australia. I realized that I had been running from a lot of stuff, and I have had a negative belief and identity about my hometown for some reason, and I've been feeling hopeless in that regard. I've had this identity ever since I was depressed many years ago now, like 7 years ago or so now. I've had this identity of my hometown and of Sweden of being like hopeless and pointless and boring and not sitting well with me. And I realized that that is what I was running from when I went to Australia. I mean, Australia's been like the best thing I've ever done, and it's been the best time of my life. But going back here, it's like I needed to face this because I had been running from this. I had been running from this hopelessness that I have been feeling here. And I don't mean to judge Sweden or my hometown or anything. I don't want to talk badly about it because this is awesome. Like I've learned so much here. But I've had this identity ingrained in me back from when I was not feeling great in my life. And now I have allowed myself to feel that. I have let go of resistance towards that. I became aware of that when I first landed here, or after a couple of weeks. I was like, okay, this is something that I'm familiar with. I've been feeling this before. When did I feel this way before? And I started going into that, and I started facing that hopelessness that I had been running from. Because I realized that all of these things that we are not comfortable with in ourselves, we make resistance towards them, like I said. But in that process, we're never present. We are never present. And so by learning to just be present with our pain, be learning to be present with everything that makes us uncomfortable, everything we're trying to deny or escape, or we just don't want it to be there. If we can allow ourselves to just be present with that, there will be a deeper presence arising in life. And that presence it's never seeking anything. And I realized that I've been seeking my entire life. I've been a seeker. And the seeker archetype has its place. We need to have the seeker. And we should go out into the world and maybe go on a hero's journey and find ourselves and try and explore everything and want to gather more experiences and everything. I still want to do that, but it comes from a different place now. I'm not expecting myself to become something more when I chase something. And actually, if I can't be present when I'm out seeking, I will not enjoy my experiences anyway, because I will only look forward to the next thing all the time. So this time in Sweden, I've really learned to be more present. I thought I was present when I left Australia, but obviously this journey is ongoing. And I've found just more beauty in life. Because I've found this, let's say, fulfillment, or I've found this sense that I'm okay regardless. Sweden has been a little bit hedonistic to me. I've really been enjoying more fast food and not training as hard or as frequently. And I've been enjoying more alcohol. And I realize now that those things are also pulling us down because they are causing pain and resistance in the nervous system. Because this is so fascinating. I found this to be true. Our bodies, they know what's authentic to us. They know what we should do. But then it's our mind, our ego, separate self, whatever you want to call that, pulls us in this direction. Drink beer, have this pleasure, have this fast food, whatever. Have this instant pleasure. And so we go after that. And then after that, we will find some pain in the nervous system. We'll find these tingles and twitches and a sense of fear in the nervous system because of that. And then we have to practice letting go of resistance towards that again. So I realize now that this journey of mine, it's not about pleasures. I mean, I'm not saying that we shouldn't enjoy fast food if we want to do that, and I'm not saying that I will never do that again either. I definitely will, but I realize that the more we go on this journey and letting go of resistance and becoming more aware of what's happening inside of our body and everything, we would just cause ourselves unnecessary pain and resistance and suffering if we're not listening to that. If we're not listening to these signals telling us that, okay, this pizza that I had, or this burger and fries and whatever, and I've had alcohol today, there's more resistance in my nervous system now. I need to let go of that because I don't want to walk around and feel resistance all the time. I've become much more aware of that here in Sweden. And it's been interesting. So I was leaning more towards a hedonistic lifestyle. Like, if I'm already fulfilled regardless of what I'm doing, why even bother training? Why even bother being disciplined with nutrition? Why even bother? But now I know. It's because to live free, to live at peace, to live in stillness, to not have resistance and pain arising in our nervous system, to cleanse that. And if you want to enjoy a pizza every once in a while, that's fair and totally okay. But I've realized that if I do, there will most likely be some resistance coming up because my body knows that I shouldn't have it. My body knows that, okay, I will not feel good from this. So I will create resistance for Kimon's brain now. And then the brain will resist that. And if I'm not aware enough, I will walk around and suffer from that. And I will create more pain. And I won't be free. I won't be still. I won't be having peace of mind. And so it's a combination between discipline and surrender. Discipline and surrender. The combination between that equals flow state. And that's what I found. And that's what I'm going to do heading to the next chapter where I'm going. And that's going to be interesting. All right, so where am I going next? What's the next adventure? Where will my newfound surrender plus discipline type of lifestyle take me? And for that, I need to tell you a story because it's such an interesting thing what happened to me in Bali. Like, I've never experienced anything like that. But it was one morning when I was laying in bed and I was sleeping, and it was probably around 6 or 7 a.m. or something like that. And I had this dream just before I woke up. Like, it was the most vivid, real dream I've ever had, ever. Like, I've never dreamt anything more. It was an experience, that dream. But it was short-lived. Like, it was just a few seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, whatever. And I was just about to wake up, and I was going from deep sleep to waking up, I realized. And I had this dream, and it was like a woman whispering or speaking quietly in my ear. And she was like, "You're gonna go to the Mediterranean, and you're gonna settle there, and you're gonna live there." And I like woke up, I was like, what the hell was that? What the hell was that? And it felt like someone actually spoke to me inside my mind. It's like, you're gonna go to the Mediterranean and you're gonna live there. And I'm like, okay. And then I felt this deep drive and excitement to go and do that. I wanted to go then. I'm like, okay, I'm leaving Bali. I'm going straight away to the Mediterranean somewhere. But I didn't know where I was gonna go. And I had a few options, and I started looking at a few countries. And just a couple days after, my younger brother, he lives in Mallorca, Spain. If you guys who don't know Mallorca, that's an island outside of the east coast of Spain, right in the Mediterranean. And he had been living there for a while, and he asked me if I wanted to come and live with him, because I had been talking to him about that. And I was like, okay, so this opportunity presents itself to me right now. I could go and live in Mallorca in the Mediterranean, just like that dream told me. And I was like, okay, let's do this. So now I've been in Sweden for 5 months, but on Friday, it's Tuesday today, so in 3 days I'll be traveling to Mallorca. And the reason for that is because I had that dream telling me that I'm gonna go to the Mediterranean and live there. You will go to the Mediterranean and you're gonna live there. And I'm like, whoa, okay, so I felt then that I need to do that. Because I said in previous videos that I've always felt guided by something. Something is pulling me forward to bigger and better things all the time. And when I was the most depressed, I stopped listening to that pulling force, whatever that is. I didn't have the courage to listen to that. And now I have made that like my number one drive in life. I think there's a squirrel here somewhere. Oh, birds, yeah. I have made that my number one drive in life. I always listen to that, and there's like tiny hints here and there and what feels right in my heart. And sometimes it doesn't make any logical sense, like selling everything I own and move to Australia. It doesn't make logical sense, but it felt right. It felt like that was the first time I did something that was true to me, to my being. And so ever since then, I've started listening to that more and more and more. And now when I had this dream about this voice, this female voice telling me that I'm gonna go to the Mediterranean, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna see what that's all about. Like, why, what's that? And if it turns out that it'll be another adventure that's going to be the best thing I've ever done, then I know that I can always trust that thing. I know that I can trust that thing, but it was such a, I've never had a dream like that. For just like 3-4 seconds, super clear. It's like, and then waking up straight away and then having this drive to go. And I'm not sure what that is, what that female voice was, but I'm gonna follow it. So I'm gonna go to Mallorca, Spain, and I'm gonna live there until at least March, April next year. So it'll be about 7-8 months or so. And I will explore that, and I will see what's gonna happen there. And I'm very excited to keep sharing my journey and keep sharing what struggles I have and the things I use to overcome that and what I do to feel great in life. And there's gonna be so many more videos coming from that adventure. I'm so excited because I feel like I'm entering a new chapter. It's been a letting go process for me over the last few months, learning to say goodbye, facing the fear of endings, which I realized that I've been scared of. And through facing all of that, finding deeper presence and a new drive to conquer and surrender at the same time. And it's a very interesting energy that I'm sitting in at the moment. And I've been in that energy for a while. And it's like, my number one goal is to bring as many people together as I can that feels like this is resonating. Because I know that there's more people thinking about this stuff that I'm talking about. And the fact that you want to listen to me rambling about all this stuff makes me so grateful. Like it's the best thing. Like someone wants to listen to what I say, which I'm super passionate about. It's just the best thing ever. So thank you for coming along. I feel like the next step in the journey is an interesting one. And I've touched something within myself that is impossible to deny, and it's impossible to lose, and it's always there. And I'm gonna try and share that with my words in the best way I can over the time I have left here. I feel like it's what I want to do. So thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want to, like and comment as well. And I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye.